You owe us. Welcome, guys, to another edition of Dead Walking Sunday, where we spoiler review, The Walking Dead. Now, the title of this episode is Slabtown, and basically this episode focuses on where Beth has been, what she's been up to, and we find out that basically she's in Atlanta in this hospital where it's controlled by these two cops. There's this one, I think her name is Jones, and her fellow officer, who's a dude. Forgot his name already. But basically, Jones controls the whole facility. They take in full. They pretty much help them out. They make sure that they recover. If they don't recover, they throw them down an elevator shaft, apparently. So Beth basically wakes up. It's like a little Rick moment type of deal where she looks and she's like, oh, where the hell am I, basically? And then that Jones chick comes in, the woman police officer, and she pretty much says her and the doctor, there was a doctor in here, he comes in, and so does the officer chick, and basically explains to her that they found her struggling with the walker and they saved her, and then I'm assuming they freaking knocked her out because Beth remembers somewhat of it, but everything else goes blank. So basically this episode was kind of slow towards the beginning, picked up a little bit towards the middle half, the last 30 minutes of it. Like, this whole hospital thing is basically, it's a corrupt system. The dude officer pretty much rapes women, but in order... And Jones allows a little corruption going. It's corrupted. Jones allows corruption in order for basically them to maintain their stability and their everyday life, basically. And that's to keep themselves inside the hospital and never really going out. She's upholding the law, so to speak, in her law book, not the law that we know in society to have. Her law book. This Jones chick, the female officer, was I kind of liked her character. I can't say I really liked her character because we still don't know too much about her, but she's kind of crazy, but she's kind of makes sense. She definitely is like I said, man, this is why I don't know why they got rid of Shane. A lot of the elements that Shane was saying, this cop is saying. Basically, some people are made for this world and some people are not, and the people who are not are pretty much dragging the people who are down. So she is definitely preaching the Shane Bible, so to speak. It was good to see Beth. I didn't think the acting was terribly awful, but I didn't think it wasn't as good as it usually is. I thought the acting was so-so, and I just realized that guy was from Everybody Hates Chris. He's gotten older. He was okay. Basically, this episode it definitely had a hint towards the very beginning, just a little bit, just a dab of Romero's Dawn of the Dead. You see all these people, you see a lot of the hospital patients. You see the cops being just cops in this facility. You see the doctor, only one doctor, so to speak, being the doctor. And it was interesting how basically I did like the doctor in the beginning until he did a dick move and made Beth kill a patient because that patient was another doctor. And, if there's another doctor, then that guy is out the door and the other new guy is in. So it made sense. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense that he would do that and sabotage Beth like that. But what a dick, right? The Jones character, the guy who's pretty much raping women just to get what he wants and to uphold his job, I guess. It was good that he bit the dust. He's gone because he got eaten by a walker or zombie right on the neck. That was a nice little kill, I guess. Yeah, there wasn't too much to his character other than we knowing that he was very corrupt and he was just angry and he just wanted Beth and lusting for Beth at that point. This episode was just kind of slow. It was just not, even the character interactions weren't all too interesting. It was maybe interesting with Beth and the doctor, and especially with Jones and Beth. Jones pretty much telling her, this is our set of rules, and you owe us for saving your life, so you're going to stay here until that debt is paid. But yeah, I guess the biggest action sequence was when Beth and the guy from Everybody Loves Chris tries to leave the facility, but of course Beth doesn't leave because she's busy, taking out zombies, taking out walkers to the right, to the left, and then the guy's just pretty much gone. Chris is gone because everybody hates Chris, so he's out of here. Well, hopefully he gets help. Nah, he just ran away. I don't think he's gonna go get help. He left her. He pretty much left her. I was sitting down watching the episode, and I was like, oh my God, Beth, just run! Oh, look, he's helping him out, and then oh no, he's leaving. So he just pretty much ditched her. Jacked up. What a dick. Overall, this episode, like I said, was slow. I'm trying to think. There wasn't really too much you could really get into. I mean, I really thought this episode would be a little bit more fascinating, a little bit more, bite to it, since it's Beth being taken hostage, and it does have a good premise. It does have a good idea of basically these people still doing their job, so to speak, but in a corrupt way, but only in this facility. It does have that Dawn of the Dead type theme going, but it really wasn't all too interesting because the whole episode, you're like, okay, because you're trying to learn more about what this place is really all about. And then when you do, it's kind of, you're in a hospital. Hospitals in general are just bad. So you're just like, whatever. But overall, I mean, I think definitely the ending shot was money. We know Beth is, she's not all too weak, but she is kind of a weaker character out of the cast. But that ending shot with Carol getting rolled in, yeah, woo! You do not want to mess with Carol. I know she's playing possum. I bet you Daryl and Carol were outside the facility watching, seeing what's going on, saw Beth try to run out, but then get taken back, and Daryl's like, oh, alright, let's get these mofos, let's come up with a plan, Batman style, and let's take them out. So I think Carol is definitely playing possum. I still think, though, something happens along the way with Carol and Beth and Daryl, that they maybe split up, that maybe at the end, I'm hoping that's Morgan at the end when Daryl introduces him in the last episode, introduces somebody when, says, come on out, but it's most likely Beth and Carol, or at least one of them, because maybe one of them does get, overall, it was not over, it was an okay episode. It was fine. It was not, something you could be just talking about it for weeks to come. Next weekend's episode, we're going to be with Abraham, Glenn, Eugene, Rosetta, Maggie, and the bus ride. And man, I'm just like, I'm kind of disappointed because we've all last season, it's just these groups have been split apart, and we've been following each group's tale, each group's journey, because they all have a goal to something. I know a lot of people enjoy that, but me, it's like, man, I want a little bit more of just a whole pretty much cast together. In the comics, it's just like that. Everybody's together, everybody's fighting off people or zombies. So The Walking Dead, I can see why they're doing that, because it's an hour show. You can only do so much with characters, and if you do spotlight on some of the characters, all these background characters are just going to be left in the dust. But I think there's a way to balance that. But yeah, just the individual story arcs, individual storylines, and following that, it's not that interesting, because Beth's could have been interesting, but overall, this episode was okay. I'm not saying it was the worst episode. I'm not saying it was a big letdown. It was basically, I had a little bit higher expectations, but it's basically what I thought it was going to be, and learning this facility. But it was a fine episode. It was an okay episode. But next weekend's episode, hopefully, it's a lot better, because we are getting Abraham and Eugene, and that has a more like juicier kind of plot detail, because Eugene is the answer to the cure. But overall, just I want them all back together. I want the whole cast back together, and I want just like season 2, you know. Even though they did have those episodes where they were venturing off, every season had at least a couple episodes where it focused on a group or a character. So overall, though, like I said, okay episode. So let me know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys thought of basically Beth and her being in this hospital, with this corrupt hospital, and basically her still being in there, even though, you know, she tried to get away, but apparently Jones just smacking her around, so that's maybe why she's keeping her alive. And also the good doctor, was he right in his motives? I think he was. It just, of course, he did it in the worst way possible. I mean, but he's a survivalist, I believe, and it was very interesting to hear his conversation, logic through it all. Also, Carol, you know Carol's playing possum. Does anybody not think that Carol's playing possum right now? So let me know on that. I just want to hear you guys' thoughts about this episode. You heard mine. I think it was okay. It was okay. I'm not going to say it was a solid episode. Maybe the last 25 minutes, 20 minutes. Maybe we can even go 30 minutes. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't groundbreaking. There wasn't too much movement towards it. And even if we were getting like a Dawn of the Dead Romero thing, what Romero was so good was the interaction between the characters, the themes, and so on. But this episode seemed like, you know, let's just save our budget for another episode. So let me know what you guys think. I want to know if you really loved this episode, you thought it was mediocre, or you just hated it. I want to hear your thoughts. This is why I make these videos, to hear what you guys got to say. And also, if you like this video, push the like button. And I always make videos every single day for you guys. So please subscribe. Push that subscribe button. And also, that's about it, man. I mean, next weekend we get Eugene, Abraham, Rosetta, Maggie, Glenn. Let's see where that goes. And you know, doesn't anybody think it's pretty messed up that Maggie kind of always leaves? Like I haven't heard her mention Beth's name in such a long time, and we still don't know. She didn't even ask Daryl where Beth is. I don't think we've ever seen a scene like that. So, thank you guys for listening, and until next weekend, until another episode of The Walking Dead. See you guys.